And you're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us here on iBrand Daybreak. Beautiful Friday morning, Star Kana. Of course, another star joining us to shine this morning. Of course, he already has a star in his name. He calls himself Superstar Dara. Hi, Dara. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. All right. So, music, that is your prime space. That's where you function the best. That's where you operate in. Everything around you speaks of music. Like you actually ooze it walking into the studio. But before we get to the whole music conversation, let us meet the man Dara. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Dara. I'm an Afro soul artist. I have a hunch for self-awareness music and songs that give you memory regression and connect to the soul. I'm all about the heart, the soul, and the feeling in my music.
More like the underground type of thing, right?
Yeah, not really, but I wouldn't term it that way. I just like to make music that connects to people's soul, not just for making music. You know, I like to communicate with my music.
I think that's what stands you out from the regular musical artist out there. Your ability, why smiling like that? Your ability to want to actually snatch people's soul away from them, not in a bad way, but yeah, snatch people's soul from them through your music. But then, was that how you started off doing this music then? Was it like a development or a growth thing for you growing into that soul aspect of stuff?
Yeah, I've always had admiration for diction, that's lyrics. And I started from the church, you know, the whole impact moral teaching. So at some point I started understanding that everybody's just searching for what connects to their soul, what's going to heal them, what's going to pass on information, give them a remembrance. People just want to feel something. People want to feel spiritual. And the best way to do it, to assess people's spiritualities through their souls. So along the line, when I started making my music, I was so passionate. Regardless of having a background in the church, I was just passionate about connecting to people, you know. So I started listening to people who actually do soul music, who make sounds that through frequencies and vibrations that you resonate with.
Again. Yeah, and you know, while the church or the religious world would call it spirituality, it is actually vibes, yeah, and of course waves that move through persons. But you've like in the few cause of this conversation that we've had, you've mentioned the church a lot of times, and I want to believe that's because of the amount or the level of influence the church has had on you and your music. I mean, being that is part of your background. But while you moved away from the church thingy and you started doing your thing, what has it been like, that transition for you, delving into this, you know, in a more professional manner? What has it been like for you?
I feel like the experience is I'll say adventurous, and I would say discovery, like you know, seeing a different perspectives to life from what I've been taught growing up, you know, knowing that understanding spirituality, understanding morals, understanding your environment from a different point of view, you know. So the transition for me has been a very wonderful stuff, you know. I'm not just stereotypes in my journey in life. I'm able to see it from different angles.
Yeah, makes sense. So
all right, so looking at the fact that you're doing music, I quite appreciate you for doing that, because I looked at the fact that you started music at a very tender age, to be very precise, 11.
Yeah.
You know, in Dominion City. Yeah. But then I want to ask you, that's pretty too early for me. You know, what actually informed that drive in you to pick up music at that early age?
Okay, I was in the choir, and you know, I started being in the church, like I said, at a very young age as an adolescent. So I just wanted my music I wanted to hear myself perform what I've been doing, you know. At first I just wanted to try it, you know, because I would perform on stage in church programs and events, and everybody would be fascinated by everything. So I just wanted to take it out there and see what it felt like, you know, regardless of the age and all. What, like I said, I'm more focused on what my soul is telling me. And I must have started early, maybe, I don't know, but I was just all about like doing what my soul is telling me to do. Probably I started hearing from my inner self at a very early age, and I'm grateful for that.
All right. Now, aside from the fact that the church actually gave you that support, that backing, to be able to drive this passion that you have, this heated passion, what other support do you have, home front, to be able to see yourself do this effectively?
I would say my team. I have a team of very young, passionate people that, without them, I wouldn't be able to do all of this. I started working with young people. You would have a talent, but there are people who would help you harness it. There are people who would help you direct it. And I just have a group of young people who are passionate, who's been helping me, mentally, emotionally, and from the creativity to the implementation, they've just been there. So and I put them as like the major factor and the focus point of everything I'm achieving.
All right, it's beautiful to know. I mean, yes, I see the team that you came with. It is actually, a representation of what you just said. And knowing that young persons, because as young people, we have been accused of so many things that we don't know anything about, like being accused of being lazy, being accused of not being wanting to put in the work, not wanting to, or more like wanting to make it real quick, real fast without putting in the work. And it is very unfortunate because I have a long list of young persons who are doing so much. I mean, a good example is on this show. Every Friday, I have a long list of people who come here who do amazing stuff. Bringing it back to Dara and your work, you function in an industry that I must say, but not in a negative way, saturated. We have a lot of people who are doing music. Whether they are doing it well or they are making noise, we don't know. But somehow it kind of pays the bill. So there's a lot of people functioning in this industry. How are you able to maintain, forgive my language, sanity, and still be, especially for someone like you who is particular about, intentional about the message you're trying to pass, and there's all this noise around you from having to, the people you have to work with, the environment alone is pretty noisy, if you would agree with me. How are you able to maintain that peace that is required to produce the kind of content, music-wise, that you do?
I would say my environment is me. My environment does not matter, only my state of being. I've always fashioned myself to hear from my inner self. So probably I've been used to it for a very long time. So there are many people doing everything at the same time, but I'm just focused on doing what's in front of me and doing it 100% well.
I see.
I don't care if there are 10 people, 1,000, a million. Anything the universe puts in front of me, I am going to give my 100 to it and make sure that it comes out best at every given moment. I'm in the present moment doing it. So, when you're living in the present and you're focused on what you're given to do, you would notice that regardless of the crowd, you stand out because you're not looking at them, you're looking at your inner self. So for me, it's been working and I love it a lot.
Yeah, it's actually very important to find what works for you and hold on to it, and it's a beautiful thing that you've been able to do that. Also, it must not be all juicy or all rosy. I mean, being that you even started pretty young, there are things that decisions that you would have had to make, or things that you would have been able to probably take initiative, but you probably weren't able to because of maybe the age thing holding you back at the time. But it is also good to see that you grew to a great extent to be the person that we're having this conversation with right now. However, if you are alive doing whatever it is that you do, there are challenges that definitely come with it, especially for someone like you who is working on being different, unique, passing your own message. What has been the most challenging part of that journey?
Acceptance,
Tell me about it.
being able to accept the present moment, I think is the major issue every creative person faces, being able to accept the process. It's not a problem, it's a process, So sometimes it's not always the way we want it to be. The glamour doesn't come every day, accepting that you need to work now, you need to labor, you need to So sometimes I don't think there's a problem. It's just part of the journey. But my issue is just acceptance, you know, and I think it's normal with everybody. So it's one thing that has always been a challenge, but with time we're learning it, the whole team, and it's fun along the line.
Yeah, and also talking about acceptance, your music is different. Of course, it still has the Afro vibe to it, but it is not the regular, almost no diss to anybody, but you know, the shallow lyrics that we're used to that will come out trend for at most 6 months and it's gone, and there's another shallow lyrics, excuse me, out there trending. But you are being very different, especially trying to put in work into your lyricism and your sound and everything. And then being that you actually do sound different. I don't know if you get where I'm going to with this. You don't sound like the regular person, an average Nigerian music person who is interested in music would want to hear or is used to hearing. How accepting has that also been, you know, putting your music out there?
I think it's been more of something I'll say. It's been more of a directional kind of thing, you know. Now I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I know I'm not for everybody. So the people I am called to pass that information to impact their lives, it gives me like a specific direction or point towards them, you know.
Yeah.
So and it's been encouraging, you know, when you make these sounds and somebody's texting you and telling you, I got this from your lyrics, your melody did this to me, you know. You know, it's not like every other person who is jumping and trying to make a challenge. Yeah, so I'm grateful for it. Even if it's 10 people, I know at the present moment it's gonna keep getting bigger. The more we keep reaching more people, the more ones the movement gets.
All right. All right. Before I let you go, because our time is almost up, but there is a question I've always wanted to ask. And every Friday when I have stars come here, I usually forget to ask that question. It might come off somehow, but I'm sure I'm going to ask. So you put out music, and maybe one day you're driving on Third Mainland Bridge and you turn on the radio and you're hearing your music and you're the person listening to it. How does it make you feel?
Accomplished.
I see. All right, Sam, please.
Before we wrap up this segment, I would like to ask you, because I understood you left Imo State, you relocated, you know, and came to Lagos when your song Otito became a hit. Now, you left Imo State to Lagos, of course, for the fact that you had a hit song. Did that actually affect or enhance your style of music? Because, of course, these are two different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. Did that actually influence your kind of music going forward?
It would definitely do, but like I said earlier, you know, my environment doesn't matter. It's my state of being. I am the environment moving. So regardless of where I am, I'm fetching from within. So I'm able to still implement, create, and do whatever I'm supposed to do to, you know, to make my purpose, you know, move forward, you know. So.
All right. Moving forward, what should we be expecting from there and the team? Is there a new project, new collaboration? What are you working on?
We have a new song out. It's barely a month, and we're doing over 300K in all platforms. Indigo Child is a song talking about humans or kids with special gifts, and the people accepting it like really good because they kind of resonate with the melody and the diction and everything. So, well, it's out there, it's streaming. You can stream it, show love, and I hope it impacts.
Of course. All right. We're rounding up now. Dara, do you want to give our viewers a freestyle or something?
Okay. I think I should sing the new song for
Please, whatever works, feel free.
Indigo child, dancing in the dark, frightening away all the demons and turning perspective. I left behind all the favorite things they like, to follow my solo, to follow my solo. Oh. When me brother man wake up, you know, see me for the corner.
Okay, is that it? All right, go ahead. Thank you so much, Dara. That was actually beautiful, by the way. I have so much to say, but unfortunately, we can further this conversation. So maybe we'll have you some other time so that we can further this conversation.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Go ahead. Indigo Child is out on all streaming platforms. Stream that song. Stream the hell out of it. Pay for it. Share it. Call your family and friends. Do whatever you want with that song. But shall just be going on those platforms and be working on that music, because that's how we support our own iBrand Daybreak. Before I let you go, your social media handles, are you open to?
Superstar Dara in all social platforms: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Superstar Dara.
All right.
That is DERAA.
You heard it from the man himself, DERAA, Superstar Dara, on all social media platforms. Go ahead, click that follow button and follow our brother, iBrand Daybreak. So, I just wanted to say Superstar Dara, but it is iBrand Daybreak Star Kana. Of course, when we return, we'll be having other stars join us to shine. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.